everyone. This is PM Sport Talk, the father and son duo podcast. I'm your host, Preston, alongside my father, Mike, and Dad. How are we doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Another great weekend of Thanksgiving weekend, which is one of the best in sports. I'm ready to get into it. Let's go.
So normally we start off with college football, but we're going to do a little different. Thursday, we had 3 Thanksgiving games. One was pretty close and came down to the end. 2 were pretty bad. We're going to talk about first our 3 Thanksgiving games. And first, we're going to talk about the one that kicked off Thanksgiving, Lions and Bears. And, Dad, this was a mess at the end for Chicago.
I don't even know how to explain Matt Eberflus anymore. Obviously, we're not going to have to because he got fired, thank God. I mean, I don't wish anybody to get fired, but my God. That was unbelievable.
That was some of the worst clock management I have seen ever. So the Bears, right? What was the final score? They were going to go for a field goal or something, so it was close, right?
Yeah, it was close. I can't remember.
It must have been a field goal. I think they were down by 3, and that was the final score.
They were going to go down and try to tie it is what it was.
Yes. And Eberflus thought he was genius for this plan, but literally no one else in the world agrees with him. It was Lions-Bears. Lions got up to a very good start in this game. They looked like they were in control the whole first half. And then the second half, Bears made a couple adjustments to the offense, and Caleb Williams started playing pretty well, got him back into striking distance, and they got the ball with a chance to go down and tie the game at the very least and send this to overtime. Chicago, it was second down for Chicago. Caleb Williams takes a sack, right? They have one timeout left. Caleb Williams takes a sack. And Caleb Williams, he's a rookie, so he's not going to be calling timeout right away. He needs to do his job and get the guys ready as quick as possible. And Caleb Williams tried to at least. The clock started ticking under 10 seconds. They had one timeout. Eberflus doesn't use it.
It's unbelievable. I believe there was 33 seconds or 32 seconds left when he got sacked.
33.
When he was getting himself up off the ground, there was 32 seconds left.
And they snapped this ball with about 6 seconds.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable.
And the whole time, Eberflus is just standing there with a stupid look on his face. He's just standing on the sideline like he doesn't know what's going on.
And even after the Bears had to snap it, so they snapped it with 6 seconds, threw up a prayer, didn't work, and the camera cut to Eberflus, and he still had the same confused look on his face. It's like he had no idea what was going on.
He's just it's the most puzzling look I've ever seen a coach have. Usually, a situation like that, you see coaches, like yelling at their assistants or mad at themselves or throwing something or doing something. He's just standing there looking like he didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, so part of the blame goes on Caleb Williams, even though he is a rookie.
He took the blame too in the interview. He said it was my fault because I tried to change the play.
Well, then once that coach sees that is getting down to like 15 seconds, you got to call a timeout so you can get 2 plays.
And also you can get your guys under control as well.
I mean, I believe where he took the sack, I'm not positive, they still could have kicked it from there, couldn't they? I'd have to look back, but when
they don't even get to try with Santos because Eberflus is a moron and doesn't call timeout.
I've never seen anything like that where the game is over and you didn't call the timeout.
Nance and Roma were on the call for this one, and they didn't even know what to say.
Nobody did. Everybody's just like, what happened here?
This is an NFL team. They, at the very least, Eberflus should know time and situation.
Yeah, like I say, it's NFL. I've seen college teams have way more clock awareness than this guy has. It's just unbelievable. Even high school teams, I think, have more awareness.
Eberflus getting
Just,
fired.
That was the last
after
straw,
game.
obviously.
Yeah.
But
If the Bears didn't fire Eberflus after this one, I honestly don't know what it would have took for him to get fired from that ball game or from that ball team.
apparently, I just heard this today. Juwan, is it Juwan or Jalen?
Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson, the star cornerback for the Bears. Apparently, he flipped out in the locker room.
Oh yeah, as he should. It was more. I saw that too. He said it wasn't. He wasn't directing it towards the players. He was directing it towards Eberflus.
Yeah, he's like, how can this happen? You know, just going crazy. How do you let this happen? I mean, how do we not get a field goal off?
After, obviously, you go to the locker room before your pressers, but after going to the locker room, hearing how the guys felt, specifically Jalen Johnson, and going on the stand and saying, I really thought I had the right idea. Do you not see anything wrong with that, Matt? I mean, really?
Yeah, he said they wouldn't have done anything different. It's like, what?
He said
We had the right play call. Or
yeah. He
whatever.
said he said I thought I had this great plan. That we were gonna run one more play and then call that timeout to bring out Cairo. It's like, what?
Yes, that's the way it should have happened. But once you see that the time is getting down there, you have to change your plan and be like, call the timeout. I mean,
I think all 31 coaches in the NFL besides him would have done that. Ran down and called the timeout.
oh, absolutely. Once they saw that clock get down to 15 seconds or so, they would have been calling the timeout. Let's go. Because you can still, with 15 seconds, you can still complete a pass inbounds and clock, and get the time or whatever if you have to,
Yeah.
So to not get a field goal attempt off there is just unbelievable. And
unacceptable in my opinion.
Unacceptable, and obviously it was the last straw. He should have been fired the week before, in my opinion, but in most people's opinion, he got an extra week, and well, he didn't run with it. That's all to say.
Wonder if they let him on the team plane after that one. Leave him in Detroit.
Yeah, I don't know. He might have had to find his own way home. I don't know, but geez, from a coaching perspective, I have never seen that ever. I've seen some stupid things. I've seen some dumb clock management from our coach Mike Tomlin, who's a Hall of Fame coach, but I've never seen anything like that. That was just crazy. I've seen coaches call timeouts when you don't think they should, but I've never seen it this way where they just let the clock run out without calling one. I've never seen that. So
oh my goodness,
he might be the greatest. I think he was a defensive coordinator before he became the Bears coach. I think he was with the Colts. He might be a great defensive coordinator, but he is not a head coach.
No,
he needs to go back to coordinating, and that's where he belongs. Some people just don't belong as head coaches, and he's one of them. Yeah,
very strange and just bad coaching. And Eberflus is now gone from Chicago after that game. I'm pretty sure.
And it's pretty bad because Caleb Williams played one heck of a game.
Oh, yeah.
He played excellent in that game. He brought them back, and 4 or 5 weeks ago, it was like, oh, is Caleb going to be a bust? Well, obviously he's not. He's the real deal. So.
Yeah, whoever's saying that has no patience whatsoever.
No.
But yeah, I wanna just skip over the Giants and Dallas game.
That's just a complete waste of time.
I do, even though this wasn't close, I do want to talk about Miami and Green Bay. I mean, we saw the stats coming in. Tua, I know they're from Miami, so this is mainly a team thing. But Tua in specific never plays good in the cold. And let me tell you, unless if you're a 1 seed of the AFC, how in the world, when you make the playoffs, do you expect Tua to play good if you can't play in cold weather? Because almost every other place in the playoffs, besides like all the warm weather places, but for the most part, the teams in the playoffs right now, it's going to be cold. So I'm just going out and saying, how do you expect Tua to go out in the playoffs whenever they make it, and unless if they have home field advantage throughout, get wins?
Yeah, I mean, he's now 0-8, I believe. in under 40-degree weather.
I mean, last year in the playoffs, in that Kansas City game, when it was like in the freezing negatives, that one I was like, okay, that's kind of understandable. Like, it's very hard to play when you're in negative weather. But it just keeps going on and on when it's 30 degrees or even sometimes 40.
Yeah, he's a fair weather guy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, there aren't very many places where it's not going to be under 40 degrees in January. Unless you live in Florida or if it's a dome, it's probably going to be under 40.
Right.
Like you said, even places like Kansas City, places like Carolina, there's a good chance it's going to be under 40 in January.
Yeah.
So, and all these places that he's going to have to play, seed, which that team's never going to get, I don't think. But, yeah, I just don't know. I was never super high on Tua when he came out. I thought he was a product of Alabama. And those guys
I don't think he's a terrible quarterback.
he's not a terrible, but
I think he's a good starter.
I just don't think, even before all the head injuries, I just never thought he was a quarterback. The NFL, he's too perfect for him, and it's just not. And he's before the head injuries, he was injury prone with the other things. So,
that I don't know if you remember. I think it was like his hip. He like messed up badly in college.
Yeah,
he's like very fragile before even all these head injuries started.
Yeah, so I mean, they have to stay with him because I don't. Chances of finding somebody.
And then
better
they just pay him too.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's decent. I mean, he can get you to the playoffs.
I think it might be time for Mike McDaniel to take a field trip to a colder place for practice.
Something. I mean, I could see a lot of guys aren't going to be great in cold weather, but he's 0-8. I mean,
yeah, he hasn't won a game.
Never won a game, and he's not even close in these games usually.
Yeah.
So, and he plays the team he's going to have to beat all the time is Buffalo because they're in the division, or the Jets, Patriots. Those are all cold places.
Right.
So, unless he's the future of Miami, I don't know that team, but it is what it is, I guess. But
on the other hand, what a great game played by Green Bay, and man, Jordan Love is really shaping to be another great quarterback in the Packers system.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I don't know if I'm as high on him as you are, but I mean, he's good. He's still prone to a big mistake, but
well, in this game he didn't make a mistake.
No, that game was very good. His stats are good in that game.
And to be honest, Josh Jacobs is looking like a big get for them. That running back room was pretty solid with Aaron Jones, but I don't know. There's something different about Jacobs. He seems to be killing it there.
Yeah, he's got a lot. I just think he's got a chip on his shoulder. He wants to win, and a winner in the pros.
Yeah, and honestly, you look at their receiving room, you don't really see, that star guy. I mean, Jaden Reed is on his way to being a very good wide receiver, but as of right now, you don't see that one receiver that's like, man, he can make a great play whenever he wants. Like the guys like Jefferson or Jamar Chase or, those sorts of guys, Cooper Kupp, those guys. But Jordan Love, the beauty of this team, he spreads the ball around. And all these receivers, they make plays when they need to. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
they don't have like that star guy in the receiving room, but
they've got 4 guys though.
They got 4 guys that can make plays. Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, I'd say Wicks, and I'm forgetting one more probably, but Dobbs.
Dobbs, yes.
Yeah, that's a
they're set for a while.
They're all and the beauty of that receiving room is they're all like all those guys, it seems like they have like something they're good at. Like Romeo Dobbs is a very physical receiver. He can come down with a lot of tough catches. Jaden Reed's sort of that change of pace guy. He can bring speed, and he can run the ball too. Christian Watson's also fast, but I think I like his route running a lot. And Wicks is just that guy that can, when his name is called, he can make the play.
Yeah, the receiver room is pretty good. They should be set for a while. The Packers are probably, I think they are the youngest team in the NFL.
And they're playing very excellent.
So future looks good.
They are very fortunate though, because that game in Brazil, it looked a little shaky for them. But Malik Willis, I'd like to give him credit, because when his name was called when Love went down in that Eagles game week 1, he did his part and won them games to keep him alive in playoff races.
Yeah, it was big for them. I didn't think he had a chance to do anything in the NFL, but I guess he found a home there in Green Bay. So
yeah,
he's a good, solid backup.
Yeah, I just felt like it wasn't really a fair evaluation for Willis in Tennessee. He only was put in when starters get hurt.
Yeah.
You never know. You never really got to see him be a consistent starter there. So
yeah, and Tennessee's not exactly the offensive hotbed either. So
no.
See what they're doing with Levis.
But yeah, I love that division with the NFC North this year. Very tough division. Yeah, interesting to see how that shapes out as the season goes on. I said I was gonna start with Thanksgiving and then go into college and then back to NFL, but that doesn't really make sense to me. We'll just stick with the NFL, then end it with college. So, before we get into our first game we talk about, which is going to be Bills-Niners, trivia question for you, Dad. You ready?
I'm ready.
Yesterday, Josh Allen caught his own touchdown pass. It was a throw to Cooper and a lateral back to him, but the stat sheet counted it as a Josh Allen completed pass to himself,
which
for a touchdown.
I don't understand, but that's the rule, so I don't get it. But
on the I couldn't find any. It said on the screen after this he was the 4th ever quarterback to do it, but
really
I couldn't find the other one out of the other 2. So here we go. I added another twist to this. So what you need to do for me, Dad, can you name the 2 other quarterbacks that caught their own pass for a touchdown? And bonus, who this quarterback caught his own pass as his first completion? Can you name those 3 quarterbacks?
Say Archie Manning is one.
Wrong.
Oh, jeez. Okay. One of them is the I can't remember his name, but he played for Oregon.
Right track.
Yeah, what's his name? God, I should know.
Titans.
Yeah, I know who he is. I just can't think of his name at the moment.
Initials are MM.
Just watched him play.
Backup for Washington.
Yeah. Oh God.
I'm helping you out here.
I know.
He won the Heisman too.
I know who he is. I just can't think of his name at the moment. He was the first one I thought of, and because I still can see the play when he was at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was against the Patriots, but I'm not sure.
Against the Chiefs.
Chiefs, okay. His name, but what's his name?
Marcus Mariota.
Mariota.
I'm giving you that one. You know who he was.
I just could not remember his name.
There's
one more, huh?
The other one is a lot more difficult. He played in the 80s, 90s, but he's not like a known quarterback, I don't think. And the one who caught his own pass for his first completion is a known quarterback.
Really? Or
no, he played in the late 90s, early 2000s for the Packers. Before Rodgers became a starter.
Really?
His first ever pass was a completion to himself. Well, not first ever pass, but first completion was to himself.
Atlanta or Green Bay?
Green Bay.
Oh wow, I have no idea what the other one.
Brad Johnson of the Vikings.
Oh, yeah, I would have never got that, but yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think Favre ever did that.
Yeah. But yeah, what a fun night if you're a Bills fan. What a pretty depressing night if you're a San Francisco fan. Despite the scoreboard, their star running back, Christian McCaffrey, went down again with an injury in this game. It's said to be a PCL injury, and his season's probably over.
Yeah, it says he's going to IR, so he's done for the year. It's sad because he was actually playing good last night. The play he got hurt on, he was almost broke it for a touchdown. I mean, the guy got his just barely got his leg, and he went down. And
if you see that injury close up, it's nasty. Popping the knee,
yeah,
not good. He's lucky though that wasn't ACL.
Yeah, yeah, he is lucky. But yeah, great win for Buffalo. I mean, you had to know Buffalo was probably going to win that, especially with the snow falling.
Yeah, snow falling and playing once again these warm weather teams.
Yeah, they just cannot handle that. That place. That place is hard to win, and I don't care, even if you're a cold weather team.
Yeah.
There's something about that place when it's snowing. Yeah, it's just hard.
Yeah.
That was a great win for Buffalo.
Honestly, I liked how San Francisco started out this game. They looked like they were gonna stay in it for a while, but
They did start out good, but yeah, it just went downhill fast.
Very fast.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a great game for Josh Allen, and to be honest, he's my MVP right now.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't have the stats. He has good stats. He doesn't have big stats, but he's winning, and he is that team. So that's why I would go with you, because he does so much. Other quarterbacks have more touchdowns. Burrow has more touchdowns. Lamar has more touchdowns, but they don't do what he does.
Mm-hmm.
He just wills that team to win. His rushing, makes all the big plays when there needs to be a big play. Yeah, he's
and you said he doesn't have like those flashy stats as the other quarterbacks, but I think they're good enough stats to keep him in that race.
Oh yeah, there's
He's
still
the
good
front
stats.
runner.
He's only throwing a few interceptions. So.
And let me be
honest, he's not turning the ball over like he used to.
Let me say something real quick while we're on the topic of MVP race. I think Saquon should be in this race, but in no world is he my front runner. There have been other running backs that have done more impressive things that didn't win MVP. Derrick Henry ran for 2,000 yards, over 2,000 yards. Christian McCaffrey, when he was with Carolina, he ran for over 1,000, and had 1,000 receiving yards. And I'm not seeing anything that's like, Saquon Barkley, obviously, there's a lot more time this season. He's playing very well. I'm not taking that away from him. I think he's the best running back in the league right now, and it's not even close. But I just don't think he's an MVP front runner right now.
No, he's not the front runner.
Or like, I don't even know. Like, I'm just hearing everyone say, "Is he your MVP?" He's my MVP. I'm like, if that's the case, Derrick Henry should be your MVP a couple of years back, and McCaffrey should be your MVP a couple of years back.
Yeah.
But like I'm just saying, there's a lot more time left in the season. I'm just saying, as of right now, if we're looking at stats right now, he's not the front runner at all.
No, it's Allen. Allen's I think it's Allen.
Yeah, me too.
The only, Barkley. I mean, he'd have to have, if he has some insane games going down the stretch, he might have a chance to win.
Right.
I have a feeling he's going to come up second. But unless Allen just goes in the tank, which we know that's not going to happen. Yeah, I would say Allen 1 and then Barkley 2 is probably how it'll go. And then Lamar probably in a third or something like that. But you can't give it to Lamar even though he has great stats. You just can't, because he comes up short in big games. Allen doesn't. Allen comes up big in big games. That's the difference between those guys. So I don't care how many touchdowns Lamar has. When the game's on the line, it's a big game against a big team, a la Steelers,
Allen,
Philadelphia last night. Lamar comes up short, and Allen against Kansas City, against you name it, he usually plays really well, and you got to give it to him.
Yeah, he is playing some outstanding football, and it's not going to stop, I don't think. He's got that team on fire right now, and honestly, all it takes is another Chiefs loss for them to climb up to the 1 seed in the AFC.
Yeah, I think that could happen too, but we'll have to see. But
I'm just saying, if that happens, don't trust it, because last year everyone was saying, "Oh, well, Mahomes has to come to our house this year. Not going to be the same result." Hold on real quick. What you're seeing out of regular season Mahomes, it changes in the playoffs almost like every time.
It does. So you can't write them out because I hear a lot of people on talk shows today saying, Buffalo's the team, and I think they might be the team to beat, but
for sure.
but you just can't. It's like the Patriots with Brady.
Yeah.
Even when you just can never until you kill them, till they're done, you can't count them out. And so it's just a wait and see. If I was a betting man right now, that'd be really tough if I had to go with Buffalo or Kansas City. Just because Kansas City seems to always come up with something. But
right.
If there's a year that Buffalo's going to do it, it's this year, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Chance for the Bills to win this year, for sure. I want to go to Steelers-Bengals, and this is the best game so far for, as some may call him, Mr. Unlimited, Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he was on fire yesterday. I know part of it's the Cincinnati defense, but I want to say, I think they said yesterday it was his second best career game or something like that.
Right.
That's saying a lot. All those great games he had in Seattle. Hey, when the Steelers got Russell Wilson this spring, I sat on this show and I said, I don't know.
It was really hard to tell whether I feel like you couldn't say if it would be very good for this team or not the guy.
I did not want. You didn't want him. I didn't want him.
I'm just saying, right? Well, we got Fields, which made me feel a little bit better since Russell wasn't our only option. Because, like, me and a lot of other Steelers fans were like, I really want to grab Justin Fields and see if he can do anything as a Steeler, because Bears were gonna take Williams, and if we got Fields, maybe Tomlin could develop him and kind of flip the script in his career. But let me tell you, as much as I may have said that Russell Wilson is a very risky move, you couldn't say like much about like his Denver days, because if you look at the coaching, it was horrible. His first year there, Hackett, right? Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh, brutal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bad fit.
Just another Eberflus there. A little better than Eberflus, obviously, but he wasn't the best head coach. He's another one of those guys, like you said, coordinator, not coach.
Absolutely. He's not even a good coordinator.
And everyone was like, yeah, Rodgers really wanted him.
Yeah.
But anyways, the next year they go out and hire Sean Payton. And Sean Payton, everyone was like, oh, well, maybe this could help the Broncos and in specific Russell Wilson. No, it didn't. I don't think those two liked each other at all, and it became clear after Wilson was benched and for I forget who, but he was benched last year, middle of the season. And Russ even said in an interview, like, I'm done with this team. And you know, it was just a bad fit. Sean Payton, he's a good coach this year, though, with Bo Nix. I just feel like those two didn't fit with each other. So basically the point I'm getting at here is it's hard to judge Russell Wilson on his Denver days, because it's kind of, I don't know, but like, it's kind of like hard to believe that a quarterback can be this bad after switching teams. Because in Seattle, he had a great year, but the year before.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, I wasn't sure if it was. I was leaning towards Russell Wilson just as done, and because of the Sean Payton, I figured if anybody was getting out of it, Sean Payton. But when you go back and look at his stats, they really weren't. They weren't that bad.
Yeah.
His second year, the first year, nah.
It kind of like they just couldn't win games. It was more of a team thing than a Russ thing.
And he didn't do things the way Sean Payton wanted him to do things.
Yeah.
Like you said, their styles just didn't mesh.
Yeah.
And Sean Payton was more of a short passing game.
And Russ really likes to show off that deep ball.
That's not Russ's style. That's why he fits with Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh has always been known as a team that wants to run the ball and then make a big play in the passing game.
If
So
could you think about this? If you look at those stats right there for the Steelers, and how many games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 games. He has 1,600 yards, 10 touchdowns, and he's only turned the ball over 3 times. Could you imagine if Russ was healthy at the beginning of the season and he played all those games? Maybe he would be in the MVP talks. I'm not trying to be biased, but based on those numbers, they look good.
yeah, it's quite possible. He's playing unbelievable football.
And I want to give credit to Justin Fields though. Obviously those 2 back-to-back losses to the Colts and the Cowboys really took a I guess speed bump, if you will.
Yeah.
But this guy wasn't supposed to be the starter this year. He was supposed to be here to learn from Russell Wilson and eventually be this franchise guy for the Steelers in the coming years. And when things happened with Russ, he got injured. Fields stepped up and won us games. And I mean, you can't ask for much more to win games if you're a quarterback. So Fields really did his job getting us started at 3-0. Took those 2 losses, but in his last start as a Steeler this season, he got the W against Las Vegas.
Yeah, he did a great job, stepping in there when Russell got hurt, and he can't say enough. Great job on his part, but you just see the difference.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson's got this offense humming, and
but honestly, seeing how Fields just randomly got benched, most quarterbacks would not take that well. Even Kenny Pickett last year, he saw we signed Russell Wilson. He was like, no, I want to leave. And he's stuck as a backup in Philly, too. But you see the difference? When Fields got benched, he didn't complain. He didn't say, I don't agree with the decision. He didn't say, I feel like I should be the starter. He went to his interviews and said, I agree with the decision, accepted the decision. And honestly, I think he's embracing the decision because he's learning from one of the best quarterbacks of this generation.
Absolutely. It's very smart on his part. It leads towards him being either the Steelers' future, or if he wants to go somewhere else, teams are going to want him.
Yeah.
Because of his attitude.
He has a great attitude.
And what he's shown. So
I mean,
it's really good on his part.
I always liked his attitude even when he was in Chicago.
Yeah, he's always had a good attitude.
You saw how bad that team was and how bad he was getting beat up. He never got frustrated. He never threw his team. He never showed diva-like attitude. He went out there and played football the best he could.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the most you can ask for.
Yeah, it's great. Hey, Steelers, you couldn't ask for a better 1-2 punch in the quarterback room. How about it worked out good?
How about Fields putting the game away against Cincy?
Yep, and he's accepted that role now. This team's I didn't think I would ever say this beginning of the year, but this team's dangerous. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl, but
no pun intended.
They're dangerous. Russ, yeah. What is it? What do they call him?
Danger Russ, Mr. Unlimited.
Danger Russ.
Mr. Unlimited.
Yeah.
Oh man. I do want to mention one more thing from this game. The W was great. Offense played great. Defense played okay. Porter had a couple mishaps, which is kind of unlike him because last year he was pretty good. But the main guy I want to bring up here, George Pickens. He cost us way too much yesterday.
Ticking time bomb.
And it wasn't like Porter where he was getting flags for doing something wrong during the play. It's after the play with this guy. He's dropped first one unsportsmanlike. He dropped the ball on a Bengals defender and taunted him after he got the catch. A great play by Pickens, 15 yards back. And then again later after the play, NFL is not playing with this. He did a fake gun gesture towards the Bengals crowd, and he's lucky because that was his second unsportsmanlike conduct, but for whatever reason, it didn't qualify for an ejection, so he's able to keep playing.
Yeah.
But Tomlin actually commented on this today. He was like, he needs to grow up and fast.
Yeah, that was good. You don't often see coaches do that, but that has to be said.
I feel like Tomlin has been very better understanding in a way towards Pickens. When Pickens has been doing dumb stuff like this since his rookie year, and it's just a matter of when he gets penalized for it or not. But when it's starting to hurt the team consistently, that's when, as a coach, you just got to be like, dude, come on.
It's game after game.
Yeah.
And he talked to him. You saw him grab him in the first quarter when he had the first one. When he came over the sidelines, he's got him by the shoulders, and he's talking to him. And I'm sure he's telling him whatever, knock it off and just play the game, and you're doing great.
And it's funny that
he does it again.
It's funny that you bring that up, because out of all people that were telling George Pickens to be smart, Mr. Broderick Jones himself.
Yeah.
When you have Broderick Jones this year telling you to be smart, that's how you know you got a problem.
Yeah.
Broderick Jones has been doing bonehead penalties all year long. And when Broderick Jones twice, each unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, Broderick Jones went up to Pickens and was like, dude, stop.
Yeah.
Like, you're hurting the team, you're hurting us because of this selfish behavior.
Yeah. It's hopefully he gets the message, because he's an awesome talent.
Oh, yeah, he is a wonderful player. He's great, makes great plays. It's just a matter of that behavior. And
you can't do that in the playoffs. He does that in the playoffs. He's going to cost us a game. So
honestly, he kind of is similar to DK Metcalf on Seattle. You see DK make great plays, but sometimes he gets into it with other players.
Yeah.
Lets his frustration get the best of him. But yeah, I hope George Pickens can get that all settled out, because this team's going to make the playoffs, and we need him like 100% focused when we do get to that playoffs. Because we're most likely playing in the wild card. So we're not going to get a bye or nothing. Pickens is just going to have to get his attitude straight and go out there and just play football,
Absolutely.
So I want to mention tonight's game. This is being recorded on Monday, December 2nd. So this is going to come out a little later, just so you know. So this will be a little bit outdated. But if you're watching, just kind of watch it like you're watching on the current day we're recording this. So Denver and Cleveland tonight is a game many are overlooking, but I think this one is going to be a pretty good game.
Yeah, it's a good game. Denver's trying to keep their that last wild card spot. They're in that right now.
Denver's a sneaky team, I think.
They're sneaky. They're getting better and better and better. And we all saw what Cleveland did to Pittsburgh last week. So this could be a trap game for Denver. They got to keep playing well. So it's you look at it and say 3-8 or whatever their record is. Cleveland against Denver. You're like, not that good a game, but I think it will be a pretty good game. You got Jameis Winston.
You watch Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. I mean, I know that's a rivalry game, but still.
Yeah, it should be a good game. I think it's one you want to watch. It's not going to be a snoozer like you think it might be. Should be a pretty good game, close right down to the end. It's in Denver. Those games seem to always be good out there.
I love watching Denver. I mean,
yeah.
You bring up a lot when we talk about the Packers that you would love to go to a game in Lambeau. I would love to as well, but Mile High looks phenomenal to go to a game.
Yeah, it looks like a fun place to go. So I think that'd be a good game.
So yeah, Bo Nix. Earlier in the season, or in the earlier weeks, you're saying, well, I mean, if Jaden Daniels keeps playing the way he is, this is going to be a no-brainer for Rookie of the Year. However, Jaden Daniels has had a couple disappointing games, and Bo Nix is playing the best football he can play. So you kind of wonder here, is he jumping over Daniels for Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I think it's going to be right down to the wire, neck and neck. He could very well.
The Rookie of the Year race, Dad, let me tell you, this Rookie of the Year race, many people are just focusing on those two quarterbacks, Nix and Daniels. But do you want to know a guy that I think should be being looked at a lot more for this award? Brock Bowers. You take a look at his stats, he is playing great football.
Yeah, he is.
I know he's on the Raiders, but just look at his stats. They're
I know.
eye-popping.
They are. But they're going to give it to a quarterback if they can.
Well, yeah, for sure. But
it's like the MVP.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think the Raiders, they are a quarterback away from being at least a decent team.
Yeah, they just need a quarterback. Yeah, that's a great pick, Brock Bowers. I feel like the Giants could have had him and they let him go to the Raiders, which was pretty dumb.
Giants, they picked Neighbors, though, so that was good.
Yeah, so they got, I guess either or. But, yeah, he's having a great season. It's definitely down to those three, and probably just depends on how the rest of the last 5 games go, see who gets it.
Yeah, great Rookie of the Year race so far this year. Yeah, we're running kind of short on time, but we have to talk about college football this weekend. I mean, it's a must. Let's start with the disappointing game. Of course, it's exciting for you. The game, Ohio State, Michigan in Columbus. And Ryan Day finds another way to lose to Michigan. And I'm just going to say it, they're horrible this year. They had 5 wins going into this game.
6, actually. But
6, sorry. But
still.
I mean, yeah. Point stands.
This game is all on Ohio State. Michigan's just playing for pride, a rivalry game. This was Ohio State's game to win or lose, and they lost it. They have way more talent. Yes, Michigan has some talent on defense. That defensive line is an NFL defensive line. So I'll grant you that. But offensively, they have nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing other than Khalil Mullings. And
he played a great game.
That's it. Their offensive line is just average, not like it was last year. Ohio State, it's like they played not to lose instead of to win, and they lost because of it. But in the grand scheme of things, they're still in the playoff. It's a rivalry game, yes, but their season still goes on. So if they do well in the playoff, I'll be forgiven.
I mean, let me say this right now. Everyone knows this. Ryan Day's career is depending on how they do in the playoffs. And honestly, I wouldn't even be mad if we lost because I want him gone now. I don't care, really, if he goes out there and brings this team to a national championship.
Well, if he does that.
I don't care. I'm gonna obviously I'd be happy with a championship, but I'm just saying this guy's not a good coach no matter what he does in the playoffs. He's not. When Michigan won this game, everyone, almost every team in college football, when they won and they were the away team, they went to the center of the field and planted a flag, and not one time that someone did that, it didn't end in an all-out brawl. So I'm sure a lot of these viewers have seen the big fights throughout college football on rivalry weekend, but you saw all of Michigan's coaches and some of Ohio State's coaches trying to get that all sorted out, and Ryan Day's just standing there asking his players, "What happened? What happened? I didn't see what happened."
Yeah, he was acting like Matt Eberflus, like he had no clue what was going on. Yeah, you're right. The other coaches are trying to get it separated and all this stuff, and he's just standing there. Because honestly, I think he was thinking in the moment, like, "Geez, I can't beat these guys," and he's like, it's like he was defeatist, the defeatist moment.
Yeah.
Like he was just, and he wasn't even thinking about anything else that was going on. He's got a responsibility there to try to, squash that whole thing there, and he didn't have any part of it. Like you said, he's asking he's right on TV, what happened? Well, everybody in the planet knew what happened except him.
Yeah.
Apparently. So
when I was watching the coaches' interviews, obviously for this past podcast, if you've been watching, I'm a big Ohio State fan. My father's a big Michigan fan. But when I watch these interviews, Ryan Day compared to Sharon Moore, oh my gosh. Sharon Moore's interview was so much better. Like handled better, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah.
I watched both of them. Ryan Day's out there saying, I didn't see exactly what happened. He started pointing fingers at Michigan, saying they started this whole thing and ignited my guys, which could be true. He took no accountability, though, for his guys. Sharon Moore is saying, like, I think he started out answering the question because, you know, everyone's going to get asked this question. He got asked the question, about the fight. And he was like, yeah, I should have handled it better. My guy should have handled it better. We as a team should have handled it better. And as much as I hate Michigan, Sharon Moore handled that whole thing a lot better than Ryan Day did.
Yeah, he did. If you watch Ryan Day, he's not a good interview guy at all. I've noticed that no matter what the situation, whether he's won or lost, he's just not. I just don't know if it's his personality, but yeah, he needed to take accountability there. I mean, it was Michigan that started it, but yeah, he should have at least had something better to say than that. But
honestly, I had a bad feeling about Ohio State. Obviously, I was very happy winning against Indiana and looking at them and saying, yeah, this is the Indiana we all know. But with Ryan Day running the score up at the end with starters in, by the way, when the game is in hand, he got asked about it in a post-game interview. He was like, we want to let the world know who's the best team, who runs the place here. I was like, dude, you have any bit of class? I mean, I'm just going to say Kurt Signetti was not the best either, but I'm just saying he kind of acts all high and mighty, if you know what I'm trying to say here.
yeah, he does. But
and yeah, I hope this Michigan loss brought him down to earth and realized what he needs to do better as a coach. That's all I'm going to say.
yeah, I would hope so. Luckily for him, he's got another game to try and prove it. So.
Yeah, putting 10 points up against this Michigan team is inexcusable.
Yeah, definitely.
And just one more thing from this game. I know Michigan as a team's going to say this no matter how good they play. But geez, Davis Warren in his post-game interview bringing up about the flag was like, if we win in your house, we're going to plant the flag. Maybe you should have done something about it. Dude, you threw for 60 yards and 2 interceptions. Maybe you shouldn't be talking about that.
Yeah, that's I just don't get it.
You see the difference in that interview compared to Kalel Mullings after the game?
Yeah.
I loved Mullings' response to the whole situation. Like, it's bad for the game, and some guys need to learn how to lose. Obviously, he threw a shot at Ohio State, but he knew that was a bad scene for both teams and this rivalry and the game of football in general.
Yeah, unfortunately, not every guy gets it, and but he does. And yeah, Warren that was his moment in the sun, I guess. We won't hear from him again. So
yeah, I mean, it's his moment, but geez, dude, maybe put up a better stat line.
Yeah,
you didn't win them that game, but besides the point, there was also in the college football world, there was a little bit of heated moments in a game that wasn't really close. It was an interesting situation though. Penn State and Maryland, right? Obviously, I'm not the biggest James Franklin guy. You are not the biggest James Franklin guy. But basically what happened was Penn State was up, 38-7, like couple seconds left. They score a touchdown as the clock hit zeros. Maryland's coach was not happy about it. I don't know his name. Do you know his name?
I don't remember his name, but he wasn't happy.
He was not, even in the post-game interview saying, I'm not going to say it, but BS is what he kept throwing around. But, man, I loved how James Franklin defended his decision, and he could, because the first thing he brought up when he was asked about it and why Maryland didn't like it, he was like, I can see why the coach is mad, but here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about that decision. I had third and fourth stringers in there, and when they go into the game, they want to play football. They're not in there to waste clock. They want to go out there and play football. So James Franklin is going to let them play football until the very end.
Absolutely. He put his, like I said, his third and fourth starters in there. Maryland still had their number ones in.
Yeah.
If your number ones can't stop our third and fours, that's on you.
Right.
And I don't blame them.
And honestly, if you look at it in a more advanced view for James Franklin, that whole Penn State coaching can, like, I guess, evaluate how those guys play in the game. That gives them a chance to evaluate them when they get their shot to, play. You know what? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, he gets to see how they play in, like, real live action.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the one time I agree with him. They didn't do anything wrong. He took his starters out, and that's all you can ask for.
This running up the score thing,
it's a division game.
Some people.
It's fun. I don't have a problem with it.
Some people just can't handle when teams try to put up points when the game's in hand. But I can agree with some of it. But this one, I'm totally on Franklin's side in this situation.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. They weren't throwing any crazy plays out there.
Yeah, they weren't trying to send a message to Maryland or nothing. They were just trying to let their guys have fun and play football.
That's all. And this is the one time that I agree with him.
Coming from Bengals and Steelers, Dad, for our first play of the week in this action-packed football weekend. Burrow is strip-sacked, and picking up the ball is Peyton Wilson. Touchdown, Steelers, Herbig with the pressure.
Great play.
Coming from Bills and Niners, this could be the play of the year. Cooper receives it, pitches it back to Allen. Allen breaks, dives for the pylon. Touchdown, Bills. What a play.
What a play. You just knew he was going to score on that.
We need to see the replay on this. Like I said, play of the year. So far, Cooper is pushed back. A heads-up play to Allen for the touchdown.
How about the catch from Cooper to begin with?
Yeah.
That one-arm catch. Then he stretches out. What a play from Allen.
Double up on Bills plays. James Cook on the handoff. He could be gone. It's a foot race down the sideline. No one will get him. Touchdown, Bills. Dashing in the snow is James Cook.
What a play.
From Colts and Patriots, Richardson fakes it to Taylor, trucking his way in the end zone. Touch for a 2-point conversion for the win.
What a comeback for the Colts.
And just what a comeback this season for Anthony Richardson.
After being benched, now he's leading them to victories.
And Dad, don't count this team out. They are in the AFC South with the Texans struggling kind of. Colts still have an opening for this division.
Yeah, they're right there.
Jets and Seahawks. Here's a throw from Rodgers, which is intercepted by the big man, Leonard Williams. This is his former squad, and he will score for his new squad. A 92-yard pick-6 for the Seahawks defensive end.
What a play from Williams. He didn't even look tired.
Get the big boy the oxygen tank. From Eagles and Ravens last evening, you could say. Hand off to Barkley, and Barkley's through. He's past the defense, breaks off the tackles like it's nothing. Touchdown, Eagles.
What a play from Barkley.
And Dad, this sealed the second NFC team to beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Lamar was 23-1 against NFC teams. Make that 23-2 now.
Yeah, Philly looks legit.
Well, Dad, that was the end of today's podcast, but we have a couple things before we end today's episode. We'll start off with this. Who are your biggest disappointments and biggest performance from the week?
My biggest disappointment of the week, well, let me start with best performance. I'll go Russell Wilson, Steelers. Almost a career day, 414 yards, 3 touchdowns, looked magnificent. He's my performer of the weekend. And my disappointment of the weekend has got to be Hurricanes football.
Good thinking, yeah.
21-0 lead. against Syracuse at the Carrier Dome. This is a win to get in, probably into the playoff and into their own conference championship. They blow that lead. Syracuse comes all the way back and beats them. Miami's done now. They're not going to make the playoff. Utter disappointment. That just ruined their whole season.
Yeah, and you look back at that, there were a couple of coaching mistakes in that one too. Play a little conservative, and that came back to bite them. What a win, by the way, for the hometown Syracuse Orange. I'm not going to lie. As an Ohio State fan, I'm pretty happy for Kyle McCord.
Absolutely. He had found himself a home in Syracuse.
And here we go with mine. My biggest disappointment, you can probably guess, the Ohio State Buckeyes. This one was, you got to have it if you're Ryan Day, especially. You had 3 straight losses to Michigan coming into this year. You had Harbaugh's first win in a long time against Ohio State. You had the one after that where you had Stroud and a bunch of NFL talent. Didn't win that one, and then of course last year, that one was a little closer than I thought it would be. But this year, this is the one you needed to win. 6-win Michigan team versus 10-win Ohio State team. And you find a way to lose. If you're Ryan Day, you didn't even put up any offense. 10 points the whole game. Unacceptable. My disappointment of the week by far. And as far as my performance goes, it's my MVP, Josh Allen. In the snow, he is the first ever quarterback to throw for a touchdown, rush for a touchdown, and catch a touchdown in the same game. What a day for him, and he is by far my performer of the week.
Absolutely. Good choice.
And then I'll leave this one up to you. What would you like to predict for this upcoming week?
Let's do Lions-Packers. I got the Lions on Thursday night winning a close one.
That's a pretty good game to start off the week. Give me, where is this game?
Green Bay.
Give me the Packers. Lions have gone in there and done it before, but I think Lambeau, with especially how good this Packers team is playing this year, is going to be very loud and very into the game.
Should be a great game.
I think this crowd in Lambeau will be the difference, and the Packers will give the Lions their second loss of this season.
Possible.
Well, that will be it for today's podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Preston, with my father, Mike, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching, and hope you had a good Thanksgiving.